Okay, looks like I'm live. Right on. Lots to well, a couple announcements. I'm going to wait for a few peeps to trickle in here. Can't share it on my Facebook page today, unfortunately, because I've been locked out of my own account. Maybe I should get to showing that first. Yeah, let's do that while we're waiting. They're trying desperate to silence and stifle any voice that doesn't go along with the status quo. I'm sure you folks are aware of that, and they're stepping up their efforts by a substantial degree. I mean, I've been on Facebook since I believe it's 2011. I think might even before that, but I'm pretty sure it was at least 2011 since I joined Facebook, and never had any. I've never been timed out. It's so crazy. Adults. We're talking about adults here, by the way, right? It's not a daycare. It's so weird, anyways. But that's the way we're treated nowadays, like fucking children, right? But I've never been timed out. I never had any suspension. I did have one. What was it? Some kind of a claim or something. But then it was overridden, and I got a message back from Facebook saying, "Sorry, we made a mistake." Blah blah blah, and they reinstated my post. It was something stupid as well. But this one, I'm going to bring it up here real quick. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that this, and I believe this was it one of the people that was on, no, it wasn't an MMT. It was actually on my own Canadian Libertarian Facebook page. That's right, too, yeah. So, like I said, let me bring that up here. Make sure you folks can see that. So, yeah, so this was some gentleman that had come to comment on my own, like I say, on my own Canadian Libertarian Facebook page. And the one that I'm referenced to is, like I say, and it says right on there, public figure. So it's mine. Like I have a Canadian Libertarian group where it's just open for everybody. I mean, even my own page, I always say it's open for people to come, share their thoughts and comments and stuff. The only thing I always say is don't, try to, do anything in terms of advocating for using violence, something that would, cause my page to be harmed, right? So other than advocating for violence, I'm usually just say what you got to say. I don't care even if you insult me. I've left up many of people's insults directed towards me on my own page. Like, whatever, right? I can handle it. No big deal. Anyways, we got into a back and forth exchange, me and this gentleman. And this was what apparently, and this person must have reported me. This is the only way I can figure how this could have possibly happened. Like I say, on my own page. And this was the comment. So this was originally back March 19th, 2021. We confirmed. So this was after I even disagreed with the original decision. We confirmed your comment didn't follow the community standards. We reviewed your comment again, and it doesn't follow our community standards. The window to appeal this decision to the oversight board expired on April 3rd. Now, I guess I could have, even though I disagreed with the decision, I guess I could have subsequently done another appeal, although I didn't see my notification. Now, what I'm thinking now, why I might have missed that notification is, I'm sure you people, if you're familiar with Facebook now, when you go to read your comments or look through your notifications. So on mine, I have my Next Gen News and Views page. I have my Canadian Libertarian, my personal page. I have my Canadian Libertarian group page. And, every day I'm going through the notifications, checking them. And sometimes they're just likes or shares. And many times it's comments. So you go into clicking them. As soon as you click on the first one, it'll take you now to the business, the creator section or whatever, where you can click on each one of your comments, post comments to your comments or replies to your post. And it goes by going through your notifications that way, instead of going through up in the original part with the bell where you go through your notifications. But you're going through the notifications. But apparently, anyways, make a long story short, I must have missed a notification about appealing it, because I would have done it if I seen it, but I did not see it. It didn't show up. It didn't come to me as a message, right? I mean, and that's the thing, was if it's a notification that can be overlooked or missed because of the new changes in the way the setup's up, send it to me in an email. I checked my email, didn't get sent to me in an email. Send it to me in a message. For sure, I'm going to get my messages, and I could have seen that, but nope. Anyways, so 2021, the board chooses certain Facebook decisions to review, focusing on those that are the most challenging and globally relevant. So as it showed, I disagreed with their original assessment. And this is the actual post. So here it is right here about your comment. No one else can see your comment. So this is the comment to this gentleman, or I shouldn't be using that because there's nothing gentleman about this person. Just by sheer fact, they're going to report me on my own page, right? And have me so that I'm locked out of my own Facebook page for days. And, a lot of stuff's happening right now and I can't post. The only thing I can post is if I comment without using any links. I can still do that. But if there's any links involved, whether external links or even a link to my own YouTube video right now, I can't share my own YouTube video. It keeps coming up with the little red writing says, you're blocked and it's till tomorrow. I believe it's like 6 o'clock or some shit tomorrow or something, whatever the hell it is at some point but anyways, so here's what I said. You are so full of shit. I mean, just the most common expression, basically suggesting that someone might be misrepresenting the truth, lying, right? You're full of shit. But apparently that and that alone, as you can see here, was enough for this person to have my page shut down and my ability to post, right? Enough to put the duct tape over my mouth by simply saying that this person was full of shit. So I don't know if they have connections inside or are the people in Facebook just that zealous in terms of, doing the bidding of some of these very, very sensitive people, which is, once again, if you can't handle having discourse with someone like myself on a social media platform, then just fucking don't come to my house, right? Don't come into my house, knock on my fucking door, come in my house or whatever. Didn't even knock really, but don't come in my fucking house. Start stirring up shit. And the minute I say, yeah, I'm not real comfortable, not real happy with you doing that, but then go what? Run to the Stasi? Unbelievable. I see what David's saying here. What's going on, David? How you doing today? I can't share links unless I spell it backwards with spaces or periods in the message. This is the world. Is this the world that we really want to live in, right? Where you have this kind of stifling of speech? I don't, which is why, I'll mention another thing here now. So like I said, I just wanted to mention that because if you're missing out and seeing, hey, how come I'm not seeing much in terms of posts on Facebook here? Well, that's the reason. Not because I just chosen to not post on one particular day. It's because I can't. Anyways, I do want to mention as well, though, that I did finally get in contact with that Warren Mosler character, the MMT. He's actually, now I've looked at it, he's actually the founder. Apparently, that's how it's described. He's described in a video that he had online that I've been watching to kind of get idea what his ideas, perspectives, and all that stuff is in terms of monetary policy. And apparently, yeah, he's like a founder. So he's like, I don't know what the godfather or something along those lines of the MMT, modern monetary theory. And we have set up a date now. So it's going to be next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let me just double confirm that here. Yeah, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. You'll definitely get a notification if you're subscribed to my channel. That's another thing. I had another gentleman there. I won't mention his name. He'd be in the chat there now, but I had another gentleman mention. I don't. This is the first time I've gotten a video notification from you for a year and a half. I couldn't help but take myself a little moment to although I just did it real quick. It's sentence form on the comment, right? A reply is doing my own little Stefan Molyneux little rant there. It's like I'm just next door, right? I'm just at the next website. Or actually, I haven't even moved. I'm at the same website. That's one thing about Stefan Molyneux, as you might be aware of. YouTube, a lot of the dominant social media platforms have completely wiped him out, canceled his ability. Cancel culture is very big, very dominant these days. So, he can't even upload to that platform to YouTube anymore. So he's on different ones such as BitChute, right? And he's saying, listen, I'm just literally like next door, just one website over, right? You just type in a different website and you'll find my content. Not that difficult, even though I'm no longer allowed on YouTube. And I basically said the same thing back. Well, something along the lines is, Yeah, you know my YouTube channel is called Canadian Libertarian, right? And it's not hard to type it in. Matter of fact, if you do type Canadian Libertarian in, chances are it's probably the first thing you're going to see, you know, in terms of the results. So just click on that and you'll find me. There I am. I mean, if you know what I look like, you know my channel is, or if you know my banner, my cover photos, and I use the same cover photo for basically every one of my social media platforms. And I use a picture of my face, my real me, right? So it's not hard to find me. It's really, really hard to, just keep sweeping this stuff under the rug. I get where people, and for sure, some of us are definitely suppressed. No doubt, YouTube suppresses and tries to hide my content for the most part. But it's not hard if you're proactive. If you really care about seeing my videos or my live streams, it's not hard. I know, like even myself, I know Stephen Molyneux is not on YouTube anymore, but if I want to see his videos, all I do is go into BitChute, type in Stephen Molyneux, boom, there he is. Not hard to find them at all. So yeah, the days of just constantly making excuses, not a big fan of that anymore. And perhaps people should stop doing that and be a little bit more proactive instead, right? I'm noticing the normalization of vax port mandates. Yeah, when it was, oh, that won't happen. Oh, that won't happen, Mr. Conspiracy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're definitely rolling out, and we're seeing the vaccine passport thing is talked about. And actually, I'll get to talk about something kind of reference that as well. I watched Stefan, Laura Lynn, and Kevin J on D Live because they were deplatformed. It's coming for all. Yeah, I agree with you there, Sean Vision. For sure. And they're coming for me too. Now, D Live, I do have an account. I have yet to live stream from it, but I also this morning set up a Vimeo account. Basically, what I'm going to do, and I know everyone's like, oh, they're all over the place, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that's seamless, easy to do, and and then I'll just, once I've got that platform, which one I've chosen right now, like I said, I'm going to maybe test out Vimeo. So if that's the thing, if you go to Vimeo and you look for Canadian Libertarian and subscribe to it, that way at least a few you will be able to see when I do is start doing my first test run in terms of live streams, because otherwise there won't be too many people over there. But that's what I'm going to do. I was actually going to contemplate doing that today, but I thought, well, nobody even knows I'm there, so not much point in starting a live stream and nobody even knows that I exist over on Vimeo. So I figured at least do another one through YouTube, and just I'll use this opportunity to give you folks the information. So like I say, over on Vimeo, you can live stream. Looks like it's pretty good setup. I used to have a Vimeo account many, many years ago, I believe. But anyways, I had to create a new one, Canadian Libertarian. And like I say, if you check that out, I'm going to start trying to do a couple of live streams over there. And then back to, like I say, Warren Mosler. So next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, is when we're going to have our live stream. And it's going to be referencing MMT. Now, I do want to mention, let's see what else we got here real quick. Okay, let me close that. Actually, I should mention that I'm live here now. I can't do it on Facebook, but I can at the very least share this to a couple of my other social media pages. Okay, let me change the quality here. There we go. So I'm going to change it, like I say, share this on a couple of my other social media pages so that perhaps get a few more people that'll join us here. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. We're not given much opportunity to speak openly anymore. The walls are closing in hardcore and fast. Which I got to tell you, it really surprised me because, as you folks probably are well aware of, I try my best to follow the rules as best I can so that I don't end up. Oh, let me stop this here over on Facebook. So that I don't end up having issues. But apparently, no matter what I do, well, we've all seen, and as was alluded to earlier, the writing's been on the wall for a while, right? All right. So that's shared out to a couple of my other social media pages. Like I say, mine's one of the most dominant ones I use. And I'm on Gab, Friendster, ThinkSpot, Locals. Locals is an actually other one. And I actually got someone over on Locals that's actually, I guess you can actually donate or support your content creators over on Locals, because I did notice I got a donation. Well, I think it might be a recurring monthly. I'm not sure what's called over on Locals, but someone's actually offered to help me in terms of a couple donations or a donation over on Locals. So, anyways, let me get to the most important stuff here. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to line a bunch of stuff up. Let me see what David's saying here. Whether it's the subject matter or the comments, I've been seeing a lot of lives getting deleted pretty quickly afterwards. Yeah, no kidding. It's rough out there. It's getting rough. I mean, once you've lost your voice and your ability to speak, like I say, there are alternative platforms out there, but as we recognize, a lot of people are still on the dominant platforms. The overwhelming majority of people are probably still on the dominant platforms, which is why they're still the dominant platforms, right? And once again, I've said many times before, as much as I love talking with you folks, I really hope we can reach out to more and more people. Anyways, let me get to this particular article before we get to the really good stuff. There's lots, like I say, lots. And like I say, I mentioned that announcement. Oh, and also this Saturday, again, this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have that live stream conversation with Maxime Levesque. Once again, that's this Saturday. He was the gentleman that I was supposed to have the conversation with last Saturday, but that didn't work out. But I did end up having that live stream discussion with the other guy on Sunday. So definitely check that one out, because there's already one up there uploaded on my YouTube channel. You'll definitely be interested in seeing that one, I would imagine, anyways, because it's regarding MMT as well. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, and John Hicks. I got to get a hold of John Hicks. We're supposed to be doing a live stream relating to more COVID related stories, and I'll definitely be reaching out to him. Actually, there's another thing we were going to do too, live streams about live streams. So John Hicks, if you get a chance to see this, well, I'll be sending you a message as well. But I am kind of booked up a little bit now, and I know you're kind of busy, hardworking guys. So we got time here. We'll figure that out. What else do we got here? So the Maxime, the Mosler, having that interview. And like I say, me and John Hicks will be looking to do something. But once again, folks, any of you folks ever want to join me for a live stream, especially if you're a member of the channel, as I mentioned before, you're always welcome to not just, come onto the live stream, but actually come right on and join me as a guest and have your say. As you know, I thoroughly enjoy giving everyone the ability to speak freely and openly and say what the hell is on your mind. That's what I like doing. That's what I like to do. So if any of you folks have any particular subject matter or topic you would like to discuss, let me know. Send me a message or contact me through my email, and we'll set something up and do something like that going forward. So yeah, let me throw this one on here, because this is like a broken record if you're Canadian. This isn't the first time. It's not the second time. It's happened so many times in the past. It's no longer even shocking anymore. So yeah, we're forced to bail out the airline industry in Canada once again, folks. Once again, right? Holy, how many times do Canadian taxpayers have to be put on the hook to bail out these mega corporations, right? It's just unbelievable. Like, that's the problem with socialism, right? And this constant belief in using other people's wealth, money, or income to prop yourself up or to paint over your, economic losses or your bad habits, mistakes, or even in this example, well, the government shut us down. Oh well, maybe you should go after Trudeau's trust fund or anyone else who's been part and parcel of destroying your business model in any way. Because stop looking for me. I didn't do it. I didn't do a goddamn thing to the airline industry. Matter of fact, I rarely ever even use the airline industries. And yeah, I'm forced to bail these parasites out once again, and so are you. Like, this is just unbelievable, and we should not have to be dealing with this. But once again, it's just it's the Canadian way, eh? Airline deal means taxpayers once again take a risk on corporate Canada. But unlike in some previous bailouts, we'll all make money if Air Canada's share rises. Yeah. The government's going to send you that check tomorrow, right? Oh, come on. And of course it's Don Pittis. So actually, do I even really have to read anything more into it? No, it's Don, big government central planning lover, Pittis, right? So, it's going to be a good deal. Don't worry, government's stealing from you. And they're going to give it back to you hand over fist in some way. And we're all going to work out great. And magical rainbows and unicorns, right? Anyways, no, I'm not going to waste much time. Yeah, because like I say, Canadians are very much familiar with being forced to bail out multitudes of corporations and entire industries these days, it seems. And now it's just the airline once again. So if you're getting those discounts or those rebates, you're welcome. Right? You're welcome. From me, my wife, my son, and all the other working stiffs who have to pay for all this goddamn wealth and income redistribution, right? That's so rampant these days. Oh, I heard the pastor in Calgary speak on Fox News. It's getting pretty authoritarian up there. Is it ever, David? You are right there, my friend. It's crazy, but I'm proud of that pastor for having the balls, like the fortitude to actually stand in defiance, and especially his congregation as well. I love seeing all those videos. Sheila Gunn Reid from Rebel News has been really covering that story. And I love seeing all those great folks out there. Not one of them wearing masks either, and not worrying about social isolating or distancing either. It is an amazing event to see that kind of defiance and coming from, the religious folks, like people that you would normally consider these people very conformist and compliant, right? Very friendly, going more than willing to go along, get along. So that's the thing. When you don't believe in government as your ultimate arbiter of morality, ethics, or authority, you don't fall for that stuff. That's one thing I've always said, and why I'm a big fan and still aligned with a lot of people who are believers, because yes, they're not so indoctrinated or conformist to big government. Government isn't their ultimate authority, right? So that's a great thing. That's something we definitely share in common. And why I'm feeling a little bit closer to the religious or Christian community, or at least certain ones, the ones that are being targeted right now, such as James Coates, or even some of the folks down in the U.S. And thank God for you. Hey, by the way, David, I don't know if you recognize that, but down in your fine country, at least your Supreme Court, thankfully, with the new Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, what was it, 5 decisions now that come down in California? Gavin Newsom has had to open up religious services and take a lot of those restrictions that they were imposing on them off. Why? Because, in the U.S., as much as Canadians like to insult and deride American people and feel so superior in some way, well, at least in America right now, the Supreme Court of the U.S. has said, no, you can't do that. They have overridden, right, the pretense that anyone can infringe on the constitutional rights or the inherent and inalienable rights that are enshrined and acknowledged in the Constitution of the U.S. and showing, right, these authoritarian actors that no, the ultimate law of the land is the Constitution, and the Constitution has been properly interpreted by the folks on the Supreme Court. And as it was even pointed out in the article that I read, is thankfully basically because of Trump's appointment. So, a more conservative leaning judge, someone like I say, Amy Barrett, who is, I believe she's a Catholic Christian. But if it wasn't for her, right, that's the thing with political activism on the bench, which I am against regardless of which side it comes from. But at least, like I say, the Supreme Court is stacked in defense and in favor of the First Amendment at this point in time, and in particular for religious freedoms, as it pertains to being able to go to your local church and congregate with your fellow believers, right? So really happy to see that. Really happy to see that the Supreme Court has made that choice. Yes, Rebel News is great. In Ottawa, he had a restaurant lose their liquor license for hosting anti-lockdown. Some crazy stuff happening out there. $17,000 in fine. Wow. Yeah. Yes, they did actually. I saw that myself there, Sean. I actually had that opened up. Ezra was talking. That's actually why I got my laptop sitting up here too, because I have so much stuff opened up here. Where was I? Do I have that opened up here? Yeah, that's it right here. So maybe I can bring that up here. Actually, yeah. 1 sec here. Okay. I'll bring this up for you folks. All right. Oh, let me take that off. Share. Yeah, so here it is here. Rebel News. Just before the Canadian election, YouTube suspends our Rebel News channel. So this was posted April 14th, 2021. Last night I received an email from YouTube. They're suspending our channel for a week, but frankly, it's clear that they plan to kill us. Just a few weeks ago, they announced that they were demonetizing us, killing off $400,000 a year in revenues from ads and viewer donation called Super Chat. That was step one. This is step two. I fear we'll be gone completely within a few weeks, just deleted. By the way, you can find Rebel News as well, and they're uploaded on Rumble. I am on Rumble. I wish you could live stream on Rumble. I wish I had someone like, I wish I was like Rebel News, or I had someone else to help set all this stuff up for me in the background. Unfortunately, I'm just a one-man show here, so, and a lot of things to do, right? And not enough time to do them in. But anyway, so it is something that it does look like the writing's on the wall for even Rebel News. So definitely follow and make sure you're paying attention to them on some of those alternative platforms, such as Rumble. Let's see if they're actually listing. No, they're not actually listing. Oh, if you go to here, it does mention here. So we want as many people as possible to go to our website afteryoutube.com. Just take a minute to give us their name and real ad. So if you want to, like I say, stay in contact with Rebel News, you can just go to afteryoutube.com and you can do stay in contact with them. Sign up for an email or letter in some way, and you probably can find where they are on their other platforms too. I believe, they're on Locals as well. Actually, yeah, I'm actually following Rebel News now on Locals. So Rebels on Locals, Rumble. I believe they're on Gab. Not sure about the Minds. Not sure about Minds. Not sure about some of the other platforms, but I know they're definitely on Gab and Locals. Those two for sure, and Rumble. Those three I am aware of. So and I, like I said, wish the folks at Rebel News, Ezra and the crew, all the best of luck, because they're definitely coming for anyone who's challenged the status quo these days. It's the writing is definitely on the wall. Now, what else do we got? So I can close that one off here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, yeah, let me bring that up. O'Toole. Wow, right? O'Toole will vote against MPs. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Conservative Party of Canada. The Conservative Party of Canada. Or at least that's what they call themselves. Kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about here. And I mean, first of all, whether you're a liberal or conservative or apolitical entirely, right? This kind of shit should never be allowed, anyways, as far as I'm concerned. Even if you're, I'm a libertarian. My body, my choice, right? All for that, my body, my choice. But once again, there have to be, when you're talking about other people, like the life of the unborn, there's somebody else's body right? And they don't have the ability to make that choice either. Now, once again, it's not a black and white question, as we're aware of when you're talking about abortion, right? There's some gray area, there's some nuance there, and I would even suggest myself there should be times, my body, my choice, and if a woman wants to make those kinds of decisions, right, especially difficult situations, once again, there should be some nuance to it, but things that come off the top of my head is complications that threaten the health of the baby or the mother, rape, right, or molestation. If you become pregnant by way of rape or molestation, you should have that ability because you didn't ask to have that imposed on you. So of course, an abortion, I could see reasons behind that. And like I say, there's other areas and definite reason why some women may have to choose to have an abortion. And once again, as difficult as it is for me to get in line with, killing the unborn, I recognize that there are areas where it's not up to me. And once again, it is their body, their choice, and they should have the ability. Now, as far as I'm concerned, though, if you're going to do that stuff, at the very least, you should be doing that really early on. If you're going to have an abortion, at the very least, do it before it starts forming into an actual, something that resembles an embryo or a human being, right? Something real early on where at least makes some kind of plausible sense, where it's like it sells not so much, but that you're killing or whatever, not a formed or at least developed fetus or human being, right? So once again, gray areas. But in this area, this is something, especially if you're a conservative, it should be easy. I'm not even conservative, and this is an easy one for me because, morality and ethics matters, right? And legality and the laws should reflect proper morality and ethics. But in Canada, no, they don't. And as we know, that is a reality. But check this out. Make sure you folks can see that first. Yep. O'Toole will vote against MP's private member's bill on sex-selective abortion. Bill from Conservative MP Kathy Wangenthal would make sex-selective abortion a criminal offense. This is reported by Richard Raycraft, April 12th, 2021. Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole says he will vote against a private member's bill introduced by a Conservative MP, which would make performing a sex-selective abortion a criminal offense. As you know, I'm pro-choice, and I will be voting against the private member's bill, he told a news conference in Ottawa on Monday morning. I will always, as Prime Minister, defend the rights, the human rights of all Canadians to make this decision for themselves. I've been crystal clear on that and will be as Prime Minister. O'Toole did not say whether he would direct his critics to vote against Bill C-233, also known as the Sex-Selective Abortion Act, which would make it a criminal offense for a medical practitioner to perform an abortion solely on the grounds of the sex of the fetus. So it's just about, designing babies, right? Oh, I wanted a little girl and it's going to be a boy, so I kill the fucker, right? Whoa. First of all, if you're a doctor who's willing to do that, damn, you got, not only you got issues you got to deal with, but you've got a coming to God moment of yourself. I'm sure there's some guilty conscience reside and roll around in your noggin. But I got to tell you, when it comes to just selecting the sex, I'm completely, and I don't know how anyone could be in favor of that, right? Of killing an unborn, the fetus. I mean, even at any stage of development, as far as that goes. And people say, well, then they'll just lie and use a different excuse. Well, I mean, people will lie and people will use an excuse and all that. Fine. And there are ways even now for people to circumvent and get around lots of things and do things that we would deem unethical or immoral, right? But once again, that does not mean, right, as standard practice or how laws are supposed to be entailed that are supposed to protect, like is this, as O'Toole is saying, that defend the rights, the human rights of all Canadians. Well, I guess unless they can't vote yet because they're still residing inside another human being's body, right? Then they're not human beings, apparently, according to O'Toole, the Conservative. Anyways, I know that the abortion topic is one of those sticky topics. I just wanted to point out, though, I mean, sex-selective abortion, first of all, that to me is, highly immoral and unethical. But at the very least, I mean, if O'Toole wanted to show even the slightest bit that he has some genuine conservative creds, right? This would have been one of the ones to actually show some solidarity with his own MPs, right? His own Conservative MP who's introducing the bill. But no, more than willing to throw them him, her, whoever under the proverbial bus to virtue signal his allegiance and alliance, or basically like, yeah, it would be just like Trudeau, right? So I keep saying time and time again, why does he think that trying to become like Trudeau light is going to be beneficial? Don't you think Canadians will just, if they want Trudeau, they'll just vote for Trudeau? So trying to be Trudeau light, I don't see how that works for him. And as we see based on polling numbers, he's failing miserably. And even people in his own party are basically revolting against him. Something along the lines like Jason Kenney's going through right now, and good for them, and rightfully so. They deserve it. And so I just wanted to point that out. But there's one other thing I wanted to cover here before I get back into the comments. Check this out, folks. Remember that letter? Remember? Yeah, I remember, right? Wow. So all I got to say is, wow. So check this out. I'm going to bring this one up here now, folks. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. One of the pieces of that puzzle. Another one falls in place. CBC News, British Columbia. Trudeau says he supports restricting interprovincial travel when necessary to stem spread of COVID-19. Yeah, remember that? I remember reading a little something about that, from that leaked email or letter from that liberal insider, alleged liberal insider, right? Because once again, can't prove if any of this is true or not. I've got to do my disclaimer here, right? Got to do my disclaimer. Don't know if it's just a fabrication or something people made up, or some construct of their mind, some fictional story, or if it is actually grounded in any truth. But based on this article here, like I say, the evidence continues to pile up. How much more do you need at this point in time? I don't know. Shouldn't be much. Shouldn't be any. Anyways, like I say, BC Premier John Horgan says his cabinet will discuss travel restrictions as province grapples with third wave. This is reported by Bridget Watson, April 14, 2021. Prime Minister says he's supportive of provinces and territories closing their borders in order to protect their residents from the spread of COVID-19. Justin Trudeau's comments to CBC Radio came a day after BC Premier John Horgan indicated he is considering restricting travel to and from the province to help stem the third wave of the pandemic. Trudeau asked Wednesday on CBC's Daybreak South whether he would support such a move by Horgan, said he has already backed similar pandemic travel restrictions elsewhere in the country. Every step of the way, I've been supporting premiers and territorial leaders on what they need to do to keep people safe, the Prime Minister said. As we see with the Atlantic bubble, as we saw with the Arctic territories, they make decisions around closing off the regions. That is something that we are supportive of. He said the federal government's role is to help make those decisions easy for provinces by providing income assistance and financial supports for businesses. So, once again, and just to further add more evidence to that, so this, once again, and all this stuff obviously will be linked in the description of the stream. So this, I believe, is that CBC radio program that they're referencing. And look at this. Not only is it Trudeau, but, well, what are we getting here again? Or this one was actually white coat, black art. So it's another CBC radio program. But there you go. Canada's national broadcaster, right? The propaganda arm of the Liberal government is right out here front and center, laying that political fodder or laying that political cover, right? So check this one out here. Shut down travel between provinces to control spread of variants. Expert says. Experts. Experts. That's all you have to use nowadays. Just use that term expert, right? BC center of large outbreak of the P1 variant of concern and it's spreading east. So this too was reported April 14, 2021. So not just Trudeau, but the experts as well. So let's just read here. Experts are calling on the federal and provincial governments to take steps to curb interprovincial and international travel to stop the spread of coronavirus variants of concern. While the B117 strain is driving much of the third wave in Ontario and elsewhere, the P1 variant associated with Brazil is surging in BC and spreading in Alberta and Ontario. Anyways, so no point. I don't really need to read too much into that. You can definitely listen to the radio program. And like I say, I'll post all this stuff, the links to it in the description of the video below. I'm just going to get back here and see how you find folks are doing in the comments. Because this is an AM or an AMA as well, folks. So if you got something, any questions you want to ask, feel free to post them up. Yes, Rebel is on. Oh, it's on BitChute too? Is Rebel on BitChute? Good. I wasn't aware of that, but I'll check that out. Although I have issues with BitChute sometimes. I like BitChute, and I've even got hundreds of videos of my own upload there. I haven't uploaded for a while, but it's because I constantly have issues with BitChute. But once again, if you have good luck with BitChute, by all means, check it out. Tyrants shut down churches because they don't want any authority higher than their own, and Christian standards of morality show how bad theirs are. But exactly same thing. Well said, and I definitely agree with you there, wholeheartedly. They suspended OAN News off of YouTube for 3 months. So that's on One American News Network, right? OAN, One American News. One American News, yeah. So that's a very, very pro-Trump. So yeah, of course, right? Of course, that's why they're being suspended. Like, this is terrible. Like, it's unbelievable. It's becoming so profoundly difficult, which is why, like I say, we really got to make sure we have a presence on some of these social media platforms, the alternatives anyway. Oh, what's this? ATF. Don't know if you know, but under OESA, they already made it law to let you go with no pay for not having the vax. Go check it out. If you could actually post up a link there, ATF, it'd make it much easier for me because I'm not sure how I would type it in other than I guess some of the key words. But then I would have to go back through this this stream to look it up. OESA. OESA. Let's see what that is. OESA. Original Equipment Supply Association. Not even sure what that is. Let's see what else we got here. OESA. Yeah, no, I probably end up wasting a lot of time trying to figure that out. So, like I say, if you got a link somewhere, I'll check that out. Oh, really? Rumble just began offering live streaming. Well, I got to tell you then, I may have made my Vimeo account for no reason. If actually, I'll have to check that out there. Thanks for mentioning that, Sean Vision. But yeah, Rumble actually can start. I can do because I like Rumble. You know, if I had to choose between Rumble or Vimeo, I think they're basically built on almost the same platform. It looks very similar, anyways, the layout. So, I mean, if I could just use Rumble, that would be great because I know there are a lot more people who are over on Rumble that would watch my content and my live stream. So, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I'll have to check that out. So, Rumble has live streaming. Good stuff. Once again, thanks there, Sean Vision. ScrewTube, yeah. Hey, what's going on, Rika? How you doing? Good morning to you. Yes, how you doing today? Let me see what else we got here. Kenny is hardcore Federalist status. Is he ever? And now we're seeing the potato. Oh, yeah. And now they're saying that the NDP could possibly gain power back in Alberta because people are so pissed off and disheartened by the Kenny Conservatives. And that's the problem. It's like there's nowhere to turn. Well, except for the Libertarian Party of Canada. And I just got to tell you that, folks. I know there's all kinds of niche parties out there. But if you care about freedom and liberty, who better to represent and stand in defense of that kind of policy or those positions than the Libertarian Party of Canada? To me, that is there is no. First of all, politics is downstream of culture, and I believe we have a lot to work on the culture before we ever get to the point where politics is going to be even remotely a benefit for those of us who actually care about freedom and liberty. But if you do, or if you do want to vote, if you want to be active and participate in democracy in some way and have your voice or your vote registered in some way, even if it's just a protest vote, the Libertarian Party of Canada. And that's definitely what I'll be doing, right? I will be voting no matter how many people, even if I'm the only one, I will be voting for the Libertarian Party of Canada. Win and if an election is called. No more playing games, no more, picking the lessers of evils. Just I'm going straight, full on, hardcore for liberty. And to do that entails supporting the Libertarian Party of Canada under the leadership of Tim Moen, which is, like I say, not a big fanboy. Like, I'm not someone that always looking up for leaders, but I mean, if you're going to have someone that does represent leadership, Tim Moen, does that in spades and is head and shoulders above anything else on offer in this country. That's just straight up the truth and legit. So shout out to you, Tim Moen, by the way. Tyrant's going to tyrant. Ain't that the truth, yeah? Ain't that the truth? Tyrant's going to tyrant. Okay. What the heck? They're laying down concrete barriers down the middle of Highway 97 BC. The check stops will come later. Wow. So anyways, like I said, check like this thing we got passports that are coming out, right? And now they're even saying that there's going to be restrictions even on your movements to travel interprovincially. We know that there's definitely going to be some supply side issues in terms of, that ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal, apparently it still hasn't been allowed to leave. It's unstuck, but can't go anywhere apparently because it's got to pay a $900 million bill before it's allowed to move. So 25,000 containers full of a lot of stuff is still sitting in some port. Right? So that's going to disrupt supply chains in some way, I would suggest. And disrupting of supply chains is something that was also mentioned in that leaked email or letter, if you folks don't remember. Okay, I'm going to start closing up some of this stuff. Okay, so this is done. I got that. Got that one. Got the Rebel News article. Actually, I better go right over here. Okay, get this, get that, and that. Okay, let's close up this. We don't need this open right now. Oh yeah, I've got my Vimeo thing here. I can close that right now too. I believe I already covered this in the last stream, but so the Liberal members approved a universal basic income. So that actually, I'll add that as well. So this is out of True North. Liberal members have approved a universal basic income during their convention. This was reported back April 11th, 2021. So I'll make sure to post that as well. Yeah. Oh, and we were talking about the church and the pastors, right? Found this to be quite interesting. This article out of the New York Times. It's funny how you can see that it almost seems like I can't suggest everything is coordinated, but everything seems to line up chronologically, right? Whether you're in the US or Canada, you're seeing those who represent the establishment, in particular those in the media, are basically repeating, regurgitating the same, more or less, talking points, political or ideological talking points, because it sure as hell doesn't have much to report in actual news, as far as I'm concerned. So check this out. Like I said, this one here, this is out of the New York Times. Let me go back here. So, why evangelical resistance is obstacle in vaccination effort. Millions of white evangelical adults in the U.S. do not intend to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Tenets of faith and mistrust of science plays a role. So does politics. So very much aligned with how the media is reporting on Canadians from a religious Christian community as well. Almost using, like I say, almost identical wording. And this stuff, especially when you say mistrust of science, right? That's the thing. When they say that, is try to send the connotation that these are just a bunch of knuckle dragging, creationists, believers, and they don't believe in science. Like what? Like to align them like with what? Like flat earthers or like people are just completely against science entirely, which that's not the case. That's not the case. Now, some may very well be against some science, but to suggest that these people are against science is a huge field that encompasses a lot, right? Suggest that you can just say that word science as if it just means one thing, right? Or because there's multiple fields of science study, right? Do they gravity would be considered part of science, right? Are you suggesting that these folks don't believe in gravity, right? um, elements, right? Germs, viruses. I mean, there's a multitude of things. Are you telling me that not people in the religious communities don't ever have anything to do with science whatsoever? They've never had any operations or surgery because they just don't believe in doctors. Once again, you can find some oddballs out there like that, but to suggest that it's the white evangelicals, right? So it's not even just religious people, it's white people in particular, right? It's the white evangelical resistance. It's not just people of faith, right? And I would suggest there are a lot of people of color who would be evangelical and religious and very much believers in God as well and part of the Christian community. However, this is directed at people who are white. Unreal, right? Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna read any. It's not going to give it much time a day. Just to show you that the media in both of our countries are basically using the same kind of talking points. Oh yeah, there's this one too. I'll have to bring this over here. Or no, maybe I won't bother bringing that up. Maybe I'll share it for another one. But just give you a sneak peek. Canada's greenhouse gas emissions increased slightly in the first year of the carbon tax. Carbon dioxide emissions increased 0.2% in 2019. This was a CBC report. So, even with a carbon tax and all that, emissions still increased apparently. So there's that. What else we got here? Yeah. So this one as well. Maybe I should bring this. Liberal delegates. I'll bring this over in terms of the universal basic income. Liberal delegates endorse universal. There we go. Let me throw this on here for you. So once again, I'll make sure all this stuff is linked in the description of the stream here. CBC News Politics. Liberal delegates endorse a universal basic income, reject a capital gain tax hike. Right? They reject the capital gains tax hike. I wonder if it could be that a lot of these so-called progressive leftists are just like the Bill Morneau and the Trudeau types who got a nice little bit of bank, right? A little bit of bank on the side of maybe a trust fund or lots of capital gains that they've accumulated over the years, right? So they're not fans of being robbed themselves, but they're really fans of taking from others and redistributing themselves or to some of the people that they at least align with, right? But don't touch my shit. They'll steal from Bennett instead, right? That's the message I'm taking from here. Delegates to virtual policy convention also back national pharmacare and a Green New Deal. This is reported by John Paul Tasker, April 10th, 2021. Liberal delegates to the party's policy convention had overwhelmingly endorsed a resolution calling for the establishment of a universal basic income in Canada, while also rejecting a call to hike the capital gains tax by a vote of 77%, folks. 77%. So more than 3/4 of Liberal delegates or members on hand for the policy planetary today backed a call to permanently implement an income program implement an income program similar to the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which kept millions of people afloat with monthly checks during the first wave of the pandemic. And yeah, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars is what that cost. And we've seen all the reports and how many people gained the system, benefited at other people's expense, got away with just basically filling up their coffers, like I say, at the expense of the lowly working class, who still, yeah, because like I say, my wife, my son, myself, well, once the construction season starts back up, we're all still going to be working. So who's going to be paying for it? Right? Us. Those who actually produce and provide everything in society are going to pay for everyone else to sit on their fat fucking duffs and collect more than what even, like I say, my wife and my son make even in their regular incomes. Right? No, I don't think so. No, we'll be finding other ways, right, to escape that madness if need be. No, I'm not going to be on the hook for paying for all that. No. With 8.7% of Canadians living below the poverty line and thousands more struggling to make ends meet, backers of this policy say UBI would ensure that communities at risk, including Indigenous people, are able to feel financially secure. Given the success of the CERD program, a UBI will assist seniors and low-income Canadians maintain an adequate standard of living, regardless of working status, the resolution. You know what would help people a lot? Stop fucking stealing from them, right? Stop plundering every aspect of their economic opportunities in their anything they accumulate in terms of wealth. That'll help them out. But no. That's not the liberal. That's not the collectivist way. That's not what thieves do, right? They want to play politics with it, take all that money, and then they are the ones that get to decide and determine where it goes after that, right? So no, just not stealing from you. That means you get to keep the money. They don't want you to keep your money. No. They want to get that money regardless and then be able to pick winners or losers in the economy or in society. That's what they want to do. I mean, how disgusting is that? How absolutely and utterly disgusting is that, right? So there's that. Close that up there. What else do we got here? Oh, did I bring this one up? And this is the other crazy thing, folks. So like I said, I mentioned earlier how in the U.S., at least the Supreme Court of the U.S., is still standing on the side, for the most part, in defending liberty and individual freedom, right? In Canada, it's the exact opposites for the most part. Supreme Court decision airing on the side of big government, right? In terms of the carbon tax. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Plunder the economic prosperity and even take it out of the jurisdiction of the provinces and place it in the hands of the federal government, right? Completely against, and the taxpayer, right? The working stiffs who's going to pay all that carbon tax, as we all know. So Supreme Court, definitely not on your side in Canada. And neither is too many in terms of any other kind of courts, kangaroo or not. What's check this out, folks. And I mean, the derogatory way that they put this stuff out is just unbelievable. Here we go. Check this one out. This is a little bit older one here. I've got it set on the background there. That's actually back the April 1st, actually, but still worth reporting on. Check this out. Welcome to Kanakistan, where any human rights courts, human like that, it's so like such a contradiction, right? I'm just going to read it and just think about the contradiction as I'm reading it here. Just one sec. This out of British Columbia. Human Rights Tribunal puts anti-maskers on notice, saying complaints require proof of disability. BC body says it has received BC body says it has received large volume of complaints concerning COVID-19 mask mandate. This was reported by Bethany Lindsay, April 1st, 2021. The BC Human Rights Tribunal has made it clear that anyone thinking of filing a complaint because they were told to wear a mask in a store will actually have to prove they have a disability that prevents them from doing so. I mean, that's not how the privacy laws work in this country. This is the BC Human Rights Tribunal. So they're basically saying all historical precedent in Canadian law or jurisprudence or jurisdictions is that you don't have to provide any medical information. That's private information. So no, you don't have to offer that. And it's written, and we've seen multiple times in the provincial mandates, and even in terms of talking about or discussing this from the federal prospect, or any current precedent or past laws as it pertains to this stuff is no, your private healthcare information is private. You don't have to share it with anyone. But anyways, let me continue on. In a screening decision handed down Wednesday, tribunal member Stephen Adamson wrote that a large volume of complaints have been filed over BC's COVID-19 measures requiring face coverings in public indoor spaces like grocery stores, libraries, and community centers. The tribunal normally doesn't publicize this type of decision, which determines if a complaint contains a possible violation of the BC Human Rights Code. But Adamson said he wanted to publish one anonymized example for the purpose of public education, right? Public education. Yeah, like I say, wait till you hear some of the contradictions here. But anyways, let me get to it. The code does not protect people who refuse to wear a mask as a matter of personal preference because they believe wearing a mask is pointless or because they disagree that wearing masks helps to protect the public during the pandemic, Adamson said. Rather, the code only protects people from discrimination based on certain personal characteristics, including disability. So there are, as it's being acknowledged here, exemptions and exceptions to that law, that rule, that policy, but it's based on certain personal characteristics, including disability. Now, once again, that is not, I assure you, that is not how the code is actually read, right? They're just basically paraphrasing here. But to suggest that, people, you're not allowed to not wear a mask just because you have a personal disagreement with the arbitrary mandate. Well, who are you to decide that, right? Who are you, the final arbiter of truth? BC Human Rights Tribunal. And that's the thing. Human rights is the people. Who are the people's rights that need to be protected? Are the ones that are challenging government, right? But in this particular example, no, the BC Human Rights Tribunal is siding with big government, with authoritarianism and arbitrary mandates and edicts, and going against, just the average subject, serf, or slave in this country, right? So that's what the BC Human Rights, that's where they're at, and where their allegiance lie anyways. BC's Office of the Human Rights Commissioner has recommended that people like store owners who are only having brief interaction with customers shouldn't demand medical proof that someone is unable to wear a mask before offering accommodations, which may mean options like curbside pickup rather than shopping maskless. But filing a human rights complaint is a different matter, and it requires evidence. Any claim of disability discrimination arising from a requirement to wear a mask must begin by establishing that the complainant has a disability that interferes with their ability to wear the mask, Adamson wrote. So completely political, preemptively here, basically saying that no, even though they acknowledge that the BC Office of the Human Rights Commissioner has recommended that people like store owners who are only having brief interaction with customers should not demand proof. And the reason why that is, the reason why they would offer that as a recommendation, because it's supposed to be against the law. Now, if someone has now subsequent, since COVID-19 come to exist, rewritten that law to err on the side of big government, well, that's a political, once again, that's political in nature. That's not justice. That's not law. That's not ethics. That's just a political edict or a change in the political attitude, right? But once again, your rights are inherent and inalienable. They don't have any ability to just take that away arbitrarily. But unfortunately, most Canadians don't realize that. So they just go along with this kind of nonsense. But it's right here. It says that no customer, no store should be requiring or demanding that medical proof is required. But here, subsequently, they're saying, but you have to offer medical proof. Store owners shouldn't have to offer it or should not be allowed or required to ask that of the customers, but they're still erring on the side, no matter what, they're circling the wagon so that the ones who challenge it, like the anti-maskers, as they call them, right? Once again, derogatory statement there, derogatory political statement, because not that people are anti-maskers or anti-science. They're anti-being muzzled and anti-trumped up science or the misinterpretation of actual science by these central planning hacks or so-called experts or your thought leaders. Anyways, I'll tie this one up or bring I'll make sure this is linked in the description of the stream as well. But I mean, think about that human rights tribunal that are going against humans and the rights and defending big government authoritarian mandates and edicts. Wow. Wow, right? Coming to your state soon. Yeah, no kidding. What's going on, Stuart Passmore? How you doing today, my friend? If authorities can arbitrarily inflict these demands, we can arbitrarily reject them. Yeah, as you should. As you should, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. Prove your disability. So much for Dr. Patient confidentiality. Once again, they're trying to rewrite or completely ignore jurisprudence or past historical context in terms of your privacy rights, in terms of how your health care or any health issues, related issues you have. You're exactly right. They're completely circumvented that entirely. Hey, Missy, how you doing? Hey, all you beautiful people. Godspeed, love, and light. Right on, Missy. Nice to see you in the chat. But yeah, this is getting quite crazy, right? Creepy little girl. What's going on? Creepy little girl. Those who oppose communists must be killed. That's how communists roll. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Come and get me. Come and get me is what I say. Come get me. Bring it. Bring it. Come at me, be Hutch. Right? Right? Me as well. I'm the weird one. Well, right? Not necessarily, but anyways, let me scroll down here to see what if there are any new comments here. Do this. Well, thank you, Missy. Appreciate that. I wish I could say the same. All I can see is your profile picture, but based on that, you're looking good, girl. Right on. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. Did you see Tucker Carlson on Trudeau and the fake vaccine? Yeah. I did actually. Anyways, folks, I think I've covered up enough stuff today, unless you fucks or folks got some stuff that you want to get off your chest. Once again, the AMA, it's wide open here. I'll definitely check everything out. Maybe I'll just do a quick scan scroll through my social media page here real quick, see if there's something that I missed and left off. I do definitely want you folks to definitely join me and Warren Mosler, right? Not sure if you've seen that announcement there, Rika and Missy, but I have Warren Mosler, who's agreed to have a debate. Well, he says a discussion. So rather than a debate, he's agreed to have a discussion. And to me, whether it's a discussion or debate, I'm fine. I just want to get to the bottom of this stuff with Warren Mosler. And apparently he is the founder, like the founder of the MMT, that modern monetary theory that we're hearing talked about and bantered around, and no doubt probably contributing to the promotion of universal basic income, where you can just get government print money however you want, and everybody can just live off government largesse and the money printing machine these days. And apparently that's how wealth is created. Anyways, because I won't straw man the man. I definitely want to give him all the time and access, to any resources he needs, obviously, and the ability to speak freely and openly and go as long as he wants in terms of explaining and giving descriptive and prescriptive solutions to some of the problems. Because I will tell you, when it comes to people who are disenfranchised or disgruntled with the current monetary system, this current Ponzi scheme that we currently live under, I'm right there with you. I'm with Warren. I'm with a lot of people who have turned and pivoted towards other schools of thought in terms of economic or monetary policy. I'm definitely disenfranchised, and I'm sick of the status quo as much as you folks are. The problem is, it seems like my opponents at least from the MMT school, right, or the advocates as such, or even the UBI advocates, are still looking to use government as their means to an end. And I mean, we all know that government is force. So if you're just saying that you want to use, like, you're against government and using force and picking winners or losing the economy, and you look how destructive that has been since the inception of the central banks in North America in one aspect. So let's say 1913 in the US, I believe it was, and in Canada a little bit later, right? But yeah, we've seen how detrimental that has been. So then why would you want to double down on that, right? Or put that kind of Keynesianism on steroids? I can't figure that out, but hopefully I'll get the answers to my question. Maybe you'll get some answers to some questions you have as well. And hopefully if we tie it up in a decent enough time, we'll have some kind of a question and answer session, after we've finished our discussion. And like I say, considering the man is the founder of MMT, I'm going straight to the source, right? The very top source, the most dominant, influential source, right? So, no, not even have to worry about, if I'm misrepresenting, because I don't know, people might misinterpret what MMT means, which is why I like to talk to the person that actually created or constructed the idea in the first place, or the site type of monetary policy or position that he takes, because I'd like to hear it straight from the horse's mouth himself, so to speak, right? And this will be a very interesting conversation. And like I say, I invite all you folks to definitely check that out. And of course, this Saturday, I'm going to be having, we'll just call it another warm up, I guess, on Saturday with Maxime Levesque. He's another MMT proponent from that Facebook page that I was conversing with a bunch on. And once again, I'll be reaching out to John Hicks again, and we'll be looking to do a live stream here not too long from now as well. So let me see. I'm just going to scroll through a few little bit of my social media page here, see if there's anything I missed that I should share before I tie up the stream. I will mention, actually, there is this Alberta removes mandatory vaccines, repeals Bill 10 powers. So I will say that at least Alberta, and I'll make sure to click on that and share that in the description as well. So at least in Alberta, Bill C-66 repeals 2020 law that faced constitutional challenge. So like I said, I'll place a link to that one as well. Let me see if there's anything else popped up. Oh, check this out. Let me bring this one up here real quick too, actually, as it pertains to those the quarantine hotels. Check this out, folks. Man detained in Trudeau quarantine hotel gets COVID, infects entire family. Wow, right? So this was reported on April 12th, 2021. We didn't break any rules. We did what we were supposed to do and even followed the protocol. We got sick from variants of concern. A Toronto man is criticizing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's mandatory quarantine hotel after he became infected with coronavirus and spread it to his entire family, CP24 reports. Syed Shah returned from Pakistan in early March before staying at a nearby Sheraton hotel where he remained during his mandatory coronavirus quarantine under the Trudeau government's travel rules. He took a coronavirus test upon arrival, which came back negative. His stay at the hotel cost him over $1,500. 5 days after leaving the hotel, Shah's entire family came down with symptoms of coronavirus. While Shah himself could not get tested due to the mandatory quarantine, his family was able to get themselves tested. They all tested positive for the UK variant of the virus. While the family believes that Shah caught the virus during his stay at the quarantine hotel, health officials appeared uninterested in listening to his concerns on the matter. Public Health Agency of Canada said they were aware of the claims made by Shah and his family, but did not otherwise comment on the accusations. Toronto Public Health also declined to comment, but said that they would not perform contact tracing in his case in accordance with the city's coronavirus guidelines. I'm pretty angry, said Saeed Haider, Shah's son. We didn't break any rules. We did what we were supposed to do and even followed the protocol. We got sick from the variant of concern. What if I brought my dad home and still got sick and not pay that $1,400? What's the point of spending the money if we're going to get sick anyways? So anyways, once again, folks, there's all kinds of intended or unintended consequences with these big government programs, and especially in particular these mandates and staying, like, yeah, where you can't go home and isolate, but you got to go to these mandatory quarantine facilities. These big hotels that have been converted into these quarantine facilities where there's a whole lot of people, amalgamating and congregating and people who have traveled internationally, right? So it seems like a terrible, terrible idea. And of course, that seems to be part and parcel with the Trudeau Liberals or any of the establishment politicians in this country from one coast to the other these days in terms of completely upending everything for some pretense of or false pretense of giving Canadians some false sense of security or safety, which, as we're seeing time and time again, it's not turning out to be that way, is it? Not at all. And the evidence continues to roll in and pile up to the point where who's going to be left? Who is going to be left? I'm curious at some point in time, who's going to be left standing in defense of big government or the Trudeau regime after all the information is finally come to light? Well, I guess maybe a lot if they can keep that evidence, even though it's come to light, from being shared and spread around because people like myself or people like yourself are having their voices silenced, suppressed, or denied on a regular basis. So if they can keep us silent and our voices suppressed, well, I guess the Canadian people may very well continue to go along to get along with this stuff because, if you're just listening to the establishment media, right? Yeah, you're not getting the kind of information that you probably need to make the proper decisions or to push back against these authoritarian mandates and edicts. So how it's going to play out, well, it's completely up to the Canadian people, right? Are they going to stand in solidarity with the people who have been out here front and center for a long time, trying to educate, inform, and enlighten you in terms of how important it is to push back against big government and stand in defense of your liberty? Will that happen? Like I say, it's all rest and reliant on each and every one of us. How far are we willing to go? How much are we willing to push back against these things? And how much reach or spread can we get our message? It's up in the air, and I don't know. I can't make that determination as of yet, but I'm going to keep trying as much as I can. And like I say, thanks for all you fine folks that did join the stream. I'm going to tie it up now. Like I say, I'll probably see you on Saturday. Saturday probably be the next live stream. And then once again, after that, if I don't have another one in between, it'll be Thursday at 2 or 1 p.m. Eastern time with Warren Mosler. So I'm looking forward to these two conversations and at some point in time setting up another live stream with my friend John Hickson and have a big old chat with him as well. So we'll see you all folks in the next live stream. And thank you very much. Thank you, Missy. Mr. Bennett, you're a blessing to many. Keep up the great work. I will do that. And thank you, Missy. You have yourself a great day. And the rest of you have a great day as well. And a good weekend when it finally gets here. And enjoy some of that sunlight if it's shining nice and bright in your locale. It's Canadian Libertarian. I love liberty.